Today we're diving deep into a topic that has shaped global politics for over 70 years, yet often remains shrouded in complexity: nuclear deterrence. Russia is using this tactic in their latest nuclear deterrence strategy. It's called the dead hand. It basically ensures that in the event any nation initiates a first strike on Russia, their missiles will launch even if no one survives a decapitation attack. Thus the name dead hand. So we're going to unpack two seemingly insane yet critical aspects of this strategy. First, how does a country maintain strategic stability by deliberately making things more complicated for its adversaries? And second, how does this all tie into the powerful psychological game that prevents the unthinkable from happening? It sounds like a paradox, right? Making things more complicated to create stability? But as we'll see, in the high-stakes world of nuclear strategy, a little bit of calculated uncertainty can be a very good thing. Let's start by setting the stage. Imagine a simple, almost too simple scenario. Two opponents, each with a single powerful weapon. If one launches, the other knows exactly what's coming and how to respond. The lines are clear. But what if one side introduces new variables? What if they have different types of weapons hidden in different places? Suddenly, the aggressor's simple calculation, "If I strike first, I win," becomes a nightmare of unknowns. This, in a nutshell, is the principle of complicating an adversary's decision-making. Strategic stability isn't about a world frozen in fear. It's about creating a situation where no country believes it can gain an advantage by launching a first strike. How do you achieve that? By making the outcome of such an attack completely unpredictable and overwhelmingly risky. This is done through something called a strategic triad. Traditionally, this means having nuclear capabilities on land, in the sea, and in the air. Land-based missiles in hardened silos, ballistic missile submarines hiding in the ocean's depths, and strategic bombers ready to go at a moment's notice. Think about it from an aggressor's perspective. To launch a successful first strike, you would have to neutralize all of your opponent's retaliatory forces simultaneously. You'd need to find and destroy every single one of their land-based missiles. At the same time, you'd have to track and eliminate every one of their submarines, which are notoriously difficult to find in the vastness of the ocean. And on top of all that, you'd have to shoot down all their bombers before they could launch their payloads. The sheer operational complexity of this task is staggering. The chances of pulling it off with 100% success are virtually zero. This is where the complication becomes a force for stability. An adversary, running through the scenarios, will quickly realize that even if they manage to destroy 90% of their opponent's arsenal, the remaining 10% would be more than enough to inflict devastating, unacceptable retaliation. The plan for a winnable nuclear war falls apart. The risk just isn't worth the reward. This calculated complexity forces a potential aggressor to abandon the idea of a first strike, not out of goodwill, but out of cold, hard logic. It removes the temptation to roll the dice, because the dice are loaded against them. The more question marks you can put in an adversary's war plans, the less likely those plans are to ever be executed. This brings us directly to our second point: the role of psychological deterrence. Nuclear weapons, perhaps more than any other tool of statecraft, operate primarily in the realm of the mind. The goal is to convince an opponent that the costs of a certain action will always outweigh any potential benefits. It's about shaping perceptions and managing expectations on a global scale. This isn't just about having the weapons, it's about the declared will and the perceived capability to use them if pushed to the absolute limit. The psychological weight of a survivable second strike capability is immense. A nation with a robust and diverse nuclear arsenal sends a clear, unspoken message. No matter what you do to us, no matter how successful you think your first attack is, we will survive, and we will retaliate. You cannot disarm us. You cannot win. This isn't a threat of aggression, it's a promise of consequences. It's a statement designed to create a powerful pause in the mind of any potential attacker. This psychological barrier is arguably the most important component of nuclear deterrence. It's a form of communication, albeit a grim one. Every missile test, every submarine patrol, every strategic bomber exercise is a message. It's a reinforcement of capability and resolve. It's a way of saying, we're still here, we're still ready, and our systems work. Don't miscalculate. This constant low-level signaling is designed to prevent a catastrophic misjudgment. It ensures that no leader can fall under the dangerous illusion that their nation could somehow escape the horrors of a nuclear exchange. This psychological dynamic creates a shared understanding among nuclear-armed states. It fosters a level of cautious and predictable behavior. While the world is far from perfect, this mutual understanding, often called mutual assured destruction or MAD, has created a powerful taboo against the use of these weapons. Leaders know that crossing that line would lead not to victory, but to a global catastrophe that would spare no one. The fear of retaliation becomes a shared interest in survival. It's a paradox of peace through the threat of ultimate violence. So, let's tie it all together. The intricate web of strategic systems, the submarines, silos, and bombers, isn't just a military inventory. It's the physical foundation for a powerful psychological strategy. By making an adversary's war planning impossibly complex, you remove the rational basis for a first strike. This operational complexity directly fuels the psychological deterrent. It creates the unshakable belief in an adversary's mind that aggression will lead to their own destruction. It's a delicate and constantly evolving balance. As technology changes, with the development of things like hypersonic missiles, advanced missile defenses, and cyber warfare capabilities, the strategic calculus must adapt. Nations are constantly working to ensure their deterrent remains credible and their second strike capability remains survivable. This is why you see ongoing modernization of nuclear forces. It's not necessarily about building more weapons, but about ensuring the existing ones can survive and overcome any new technological challenge, thereby preserving that critical uncertainty for any potential aggressor. In the end, the goal of this complex strategic dance is surprisingly simple: to ensure these weapons are never used. By complicating the path to war and by building a powerful psychological wall against aggression, nuclear deterrence aims to make the cost of conflict so high that peace becomes the only logical option. It's a sobering and often unsettling reality of our modern world, but understanding these principles is crucial to understanding the forces that shape global security and prevent the worst from happening. It's a strategy designed not for winning wars, but for preventing them entirely. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into strategic stability. I know it's a heavy topic, but it's an incredibly important one. If you found this explanation helpful or interesting, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content that explores the complex forces shaping our world. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.